Hi, YouTube. This is Evan Park. On today's episode, I want to share with you a story that I heard back in 2021. It's a story that really changed my whole perspective on suffering, and I believe that this is a story that had a really big impact in my life, in how I view things currently, in how I handle things. And, recently I just realized that I never really gotten a chance to verbalize and put it out into the world before, even though I believe that this story is like such a big important thing of my life, and that I believe that it'll have a positive impact on other people as well. Um, it's a story about the god of wine. It's about Dionysus, of how when he first gave humans wine, the humans who had never been drunk before thought that the god had poisoned them. And to be fair, why shouldn't they? Since, like poison, the wine made them feel like they were rotting from the inside, They were puking their insides out, and for those who drank too much, it brought them to the gates of heaven itself. Basically, the wine petrified all of them. It felt like a fever, so they lay in their bed feeling like they couldn't do anything. No, not until they're healed, not until they're back to normal. They were suffering. And the moral message of that story was that suffering is the way our souls rot. And now you're probably wondering, Evan, how is that the moral message of the video? That sounds depressing! Trust me, I completely get it. All I'll say is that, well, I would like to take you on the same journey this story took me 4 years ago. And yeah, the change will be at the end of this video, so stick around. I first came across this story from a TED Talk. It was said by a girl, her name was Claire Wineland, who had this genetic disorder called cystic fibrosis that causes an overload of mucus to accumulate in every part of her body. And if you don't know what that's like, imagine having thick tar slowly filling you up from the inside until all of your organs break. Inevitably. Because it was also terminal. Since birth, her life has had a short expiration date stamped on it, as if she was a defect product on the shelves, wondering why management put her out in the first place. She had to go through over 30 surgeries, with one of them almost killing her. But thankfully, she survived and was in a coma for 2 weeks. Between you and me, I don't think it takes a god to tell that she was suffering. But when she woke up, realizing that she's not dead, instead of resting and prioritizing herself to be healed, she looked around at her neighbors and realized just how lucky she was to have all this support from parents, friends, relatives, communities, and that not everyone has that. Why? Why doesn't everyone have that? See, Claire was one of those masters who got sick of waiting for the world to fix his own problems. And when you're 13 with doctors pointing out how you're supposed to already be 3 years expired, you don't really got a lot of weight to give, coins to spare for the machine to finally land on the prize you want. So Claire took matter to her own hands and founded the Claire's Place Foundation to help other struggling kids with CF like her. And to bring awareness of what it's like to live with a terminal illness, she started making videos on YouTube to showcase her day-to-day, of what it's like dying, of what it's like for your organs to constantly fail on you, but still be able to be an inspiration for those who are suffering like her. Because when you're sick like that, you don't really got a lot of role models to look up to. But for Claire, that's all the more reason why she had to become one. Like literally, she was the personification saying that you are not defined by your suffering, you are defined by what you make of it. And Claire in her life that she was so proud of. They say that dying stars shine brighter than regular ones. And that when they do die, they go out in this big grand exit that illuminates the night sky beautifully.
a supernova. And when people ask me what happened to Claire and where she is now, well, I like to tell them that in 2018, Claire went supernova. And she was so beautiful, unlike anything I've ever seen before. And when a black hole came to claim her shine, you better trust me when I tell you that it's going to take him a second, because her mind alone stretches on for galaxies, rearranging heavenly bodies so that they may be used as transmissions like Morse code to tell the story of who she once was. The story that spanned across the heavens as a beacon for those who are lost to illuminate the dark. The story of the god of Rot. And this is my attempt to retell the story that Claire told. This is the story of the god of wine. When the god Dionysus gave humans wine, the humans, who had never been drunk before, thought that the god had poisoned them. And why shouldn't they, since like poison, it made them puke their insides out, made them hallucinate of ghosts and dead relatives, and for some who took too much, it brought them to the gates of heaven itself. Basically, they were petrified. Like a fever, their body temperatures rose. They were lying in their bed, feeling like they couldn't do anything. No, not until they're healed, not until they're back to normal. The poison made them feel like they were rotting from the inside. They were suffering. Yes, suffering is the way our souls rot.
But when they woke up the next morning, realizing that they're not dead, instead of stopping, they started holding huge parties to drink wine with one another every single day. It was the ancient Greek. They started labeling wine as the god's greatest gift to humanity. It was insane. And when we think of what wine is, it's the fermentation of grapes, right? It's from rot. Fermentation is literal rot of food, or in wine's case, grapes. And to think that the greatest gift given to humanity came from decomposition, well, it's no wonder why we misunderstood it at first. Just like how we view suffering and sickness before we understood what they are, we view them as a curse that's pointed to destroy everything we know and love. But what if, like wine, it's mere process? What if suffering really is the way our souls rot? A change in ourselves, a transition from one state to another. And I don't blame you for fearing the withering of your outer shell, to cling on to what feels like a still fixable broken part of you, and to feel alone as it slips right out your hand. But I want to remind you that you're not. That suffering is so well versed in its ability to convince its bearer that they are alone in everything they do, to the point that they forget that suffering itself is a trait that is shared by everyone. And in the words of Shane Koigzan, that alone makes you a legion. It is a symptom of existing. A bracelet in this carnival of experience, with privileges ranging from broken hearts to children's smile, and what an incredible exchange that is. That when you're alive, you have the ability to not let your suffering define you. To not just stand idly as the world kicks you while you're down, get up. There's no turns in this game of life. You don't have to wait to defend yourself. If you're on the ground, then bite their ankles, kick
back. If you're down, then do it while you're down. If you're sick, then do it while you're sick. If you are suffering, then do it while it hurts. At least try. Try like tomorrow is not granted. Try like if this is as worse as it gets, then try while knowing that there's nothing else the world can throw at you that you've never gone through before. Try while believing that if suffering is all there is to gain in life, then try while knowing that that's not true. That the ones who said that are the same people who told you that you were supposed to fail, that you were supposed to die a long time ago. So try while knowing that your existence right now is the proof that they are wrong. In the hearts of your family and friends and everyone who loves you, try. And we will remember. But not of the things that hurts you, but of the things that you chose to suffer to. We will remember you for you.
So we started to praise Dionysus as giving us this beautiful gift. And the reason I bring this up is because it's very similar to the way that people see sickness. We view it as a curse because we don't understand it. We view it as a curse from the gods because we haven't come to appreciate our own human suffering. But if we wait long enough, and if we enjoy it, and if we go through life and try and make something of ourselves, maybe one day we can realize it's actually a gift. Thank you all very much. I have 5 seconds left on the clock. Woo!